Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the Saturday Chat.
Greetings, friends, followers, and music enthusiasts.
Yeah.
So this week we're going to take on a new artist for us. I don't think
we've not. I looked into it.
And I haven't looked, and there's never even been any requests for this, which is so crazy.
Wild. We did have a request at a show, at a live show. So we thought, let's give it a listen and let's do it.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, so it's Norah Jones.
This album sold 28 million copies.
It's considered Diamond, one of the highest selling records of all time. It's called Come Away With Me.
Yes.
And Norah did write this particular song.
This is the title track, right?
Yes. And my feelings got hurt a little bit, I gotta say.
Why?
When I was doing a little research, this album was released in 2002. I was like, okay, yeah, that's great. And then
I had it in the wrong decade. Did you have it in the wrong decade?
Okay, so hold on. So it was in 2002, and while I was looking over the page, it said 20th anniversary, and I was like, what? Yeah, because it's like getting ready to be 2025. Yeah, it's over 20 years old. So that hurt my feelings a little bit because I still think of 30 years ago being in the 70s.
Well, I thought it came out in the 90s, so...
Yeah, it hurt my I hurt my own feelings by looking at dates.
Yeah,
a little bit. So
it happens.
It does. But what a lovely song. You
know that Norah Jones is your age.
My age.
Mm-hmm. She was born in 79.
I don't think I did know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no, was I supposed to divulge that information?
I mean, I don't mind.
I guess people could look it up once I said it. So, it's one of those songs that,
and it's my birthday week too. While we're divulging things.
So the vocal, send all financial gifts to the address listed below. So, is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying.
So,
it's my birthday.
The song it features Norah Jones' vocal, of course, because she's well known for that. And the vocal is so exquisite that the musicians are trying their hardest to stay out of her way.
Stay out of the way.
That's what I feel like. And it's one of those songs to play as a musician that is so simple it's difficult. Because it is like, I'll say this much. To play correctly and play timing fast, like fast timing, time signatures, it's easier to keep time, like the more.
Yes.
But when you have more space and slower tempos, it separates the men from the boys. Let's put it that way.
Well, you also don't want to turn
tough.
it into a dirge because that's not what it is. I feel like some of the slower kind of plodding music can, because you're trying to find make a groove.
So funny note that was it last week we did House of the Rising Sun?
No, was it?
Somebody said
I don't know.
on the comments, or at least I had a hard time reading the comment because it seemed there's lots of misspellings and streaming on.
Okay.
Not to disparage anybody, but the comment, basically, I think the gist of it is that way to take House of the Rising Sun and turn it into a dirge, and I was like, a funeral dirge.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, have you read the content lately? Was my thought.
It's very dark, and it seems like, actually, like going back to that, I know we've already chatted about that song, but I think that would be appropriate to even take it more dirgy, because it seems like a looking back over my life sort of a situation.
It just seemed like a Slow's Blues to me. It didn't really seem dirgy, but anyhow, you know.
Every listener's different, and we've already talked about art being subjective.
I mean, I just thought it was funny that you used the word dirge.
Yeah.
So, and I had reference to it.
So this song, though, I feel like in talking about the cadence and the meter or the anti-meter of it, within that difficult bit of slowness, there's also some free time pieces.
Oh, yes. That makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Like, so basically you got like a really slow number with anticipated ones, which means like the one is kind of falling lazily behind the beat pretty consistently. But then on top of that, you have a part where it virtually stops at the end of the second verse and it's like a free time section that the instrumentals come back in following the vocalist. And it's
a lot
very
of listening
subtle. It's
has to
not
happen.
very. It's like what we would call, what we tend to, you and I and musicians that we work with would call like a pregnant pause.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's just a lot of listening. Like you're anticipating each other and kind of listening in the moment of playing it.
All that said, it's a fun song, and I think it's I think it's a great song. And there's no choices in the melody that just, to me, they just are like very comforting, and it's like very enticing. The song is very much, for lack of a better word, I would say seductive. Like it seduces the listener to want to go away.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's a lot. That's a lot of people. I feel like we all need a collective vacation. So, I mean, life is faster paced than it's ever been. We're all connected in ways that we have not previously been connected through our social media, through the internet in general. Just being reachable on a device 24 hours a day, if you don't take action to set up do not disturb things and whatnot. I mean, just being that interacted with is overwhelming. And I feel like the invitation to just come away and be on a mountaintop, whether you're kissing or not, is enticing. And to just enjoy nature, as she outlines in the beautiful lyricism, to, you know, it's not even the sunshiniest of days. Like on a cloudy day, I want to walk through a field with grass that's knee high. And the first thing I thought of was ticks and chiggers, let me tell you, being in the South. However, what a beautiful picture it paints. And like waking up with the rain falling on a tin roof, if you've ever experienced that, it's very soothing. And to feel safe with the person that you love that loves you back with the same intensity, how fantastic. And just to go unplug from all those things that I outlined, from all of the pressures, whether they're self-induced or actually from the world. What a lovely thing. And I think kind of echoing some of the thoughts of the season as we're approaching the Christmas season, we're in Advent now. There's a lot of rushing around and a lot of pressures to do cooking and gift buying and being with people, like carving out time that you normally don't over the course of your regular living.
Yeah,
there's a lot of pressure, and I think that enjoying the things that are already present is important to just stop and take stock of.
I will say the message resonated with me. I was ready to go away. It felt good. It feels very inviting to me.
Yeah.
You know, back to Norah Jones herself for a minute. So the 28 million records
That's
sold.
quite a many.
And then she had albums after that also in the million sellers. And 9 Grammy Awards, I believe.
So she's in the club.
Which makes her, I believe they said, the most decorated Grammy Award winner of South Asian descent.
Okay.
So
I don't know about her lineage.
So she's from, her lineage is from India. And I was surprised to learn, have you heard of the Indian sitarist Ravi Shankar? Ravi Shankar.
That doesn't mean anything, though. I don't know any sitarists.
So he is, him and George Harrison from the Beatles.
Yes.
Took interest in, they had a trip to India at one point, and he became very enamored with Ravi Shankar.
Okay.
He became friends with him and incorporated the sitar into the Beatles music. One of the more famous songs is Norwegian Wood.
I remember them talking about that in one of the documentaries that we watched about their trip to India and how that influenced them.
So he's a decorated Indian musician. Put it that way, or decorator, or a
award winning.
I wouldn't even say, I'm not sure about his awards, but he is held in high regard. So,
he has notoriety.
Yes, he's notoriety. He has a lot of things.
He's notable.
Very notable, you know. And he traveled to the U.S. and he was around during Woodstock. I think he was at Woodstock.
Okay.
And he was, writing songs with George Harrison and Eric
Is he around
Clapton.
the same age range as them?
I believe so.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to picture him in the now.
But a lot of that relationship, especially the George Harrison Ravi Shankar, and maybe some extent Eric Clapton, and also he worked with other artists. But a lot of that early relationship with George Harrison is credited to bring Eastern instruments into pop and rock.
Okay.
Because it was some of the first times that they were bringing instruments like that in. So that was
which I think I find them haunting. I like the sitar, and I can't remember the name of the instrument, but it's a stringed instrument that is sometimes played with the bow and sometimes plucked. That's a Japanese instrument. I'll have to look up what that is, but I find them haunting, and I know they use different. What's the word where their scales are different than ours?
Different scales
than an American scale, I guess.
Like we have Western scales.
Western scales. That's how it's okay.
So. Interesting. Well, a lot of their music, there's jam bands kind of focus on it somewhat. There's a band called King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard,
which is a fantastic name.
They use more microtonal scales, which is basically steps between the notes that we're used to. Mm-hmm. Which you can achieve. See, the thing about a piano, it's fixed. It's like it has a tonal scale.
But on a stringed instrument,
you can bend pitches and play quarter steps and things of that nature.
I find that music really intoxicating. Like my ear gravitates to that. I'm like, what is that? That's nice.
It's the same thing about like tension.
Tension,
not tension. But a lot of Eastern scales, I believe, there's an Eastern scale that has like an extra note, and it's like you wouldn't. Think that there would be like an extra note.
I know. It seems like it's all covered, right?
It's like, hey, why do we miss a note?
Yeah. Well, we're sleeping on notes here.
I found it very interesting that...
Okay, I've derailed. I derailed. Sorry.
But I did find it really interesting that Norah Jones was Ravi Shankar's daughter.
The plot thickens. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, wild, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a surprise learn for me.
Okay. Hey friends, go to SugarLimeBlue.com right now to get your hat and t-shirt and our new Ritz guitar logo. See you there.
And that was crazy.
Well, she's lovely, and on a lot of different levels, just seeing the way that she interprets her own music is fun to watch. I find her an intriguing artist.
Yeah. I think that this is her natural feel on this song. I don't know. She was a young artist when it came out, and I don't know.
We're the same age, so
we don't really know, if she was coached, or this was just a song that she wrote and this is how it was, or how much development went into
she's
it.
A gifted pianist, and you can hear in the recording there are there's little in-betweens on the piano. But I agree with you and your synopsis of it sounding like the musicians are just trying to stay out of the way.
It seems like her vocal delivery and her melody feels so mature to me. It feels so I don't know, just it's like natural, but in a supernatural kind of way. You know what I mean? It's just it feels almost too listening to the song feels almost
easy,
too easy.
Well, I feel like there are some artists that they're just like that. And also, it's when the artist is paired up with their perfect song. Maybe that was just her perfect song. I know that she had another song that went higher. Well, that's it.
Yeah, the other song was...
that was actually written by her guitarist.
Don't Know Why.
Don't Know Why. Yeah, that was written by her guitarist.
It's a pretty guitar-centric song, but also it's I remember that song being super popular.
Yes, me too. 20-some-odd years ago.
So, right.
Pardon me while I hurt my own feelings again.
I think he's a jazz guitarist that's worked with several jazz artists. I looked at, I noticed that he had played with Madeleine Perrault. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, I like her, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And some other vocal jazz artists. But good on him, because you know how hard it is to make a living in music.
And jazz guitar.
We know how hard that is.
Yeah.
How hard is it to make a living in jazz guitar? So to have a song that you wrote on an album that went 26 million sales.
28
million
and
sales.
climbing.
Hopefully he's doing all right. Has a house and stuff and can afford the mortgage.
Yeah.
As we if the record companies didn't rip him off and take take 90%.
We didn't do that deep a dive. We don't know what his deal was.
So,
but what kind of music? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about genre. Listening to this 2002 single,
Come Away With Me.
Where would you class it genre wise?
It's on the
not how they did it. How would you do it?
Multi-genre. How would I do it?
How would you class it?
How would I class it? Not how
listening
would I
to it today.
Right.
How
so
would
listening
you
to it today, I would say
it?
it's still bona fide vocal jazz.
Yes.
I'll say it has a touch of folk and country to it.
Country, really?
Yeah.
What specifically draws that out?
Mostly like the lyrical content. Like I'm not talking like modern country. Like, like lyrical content and some of the guitar parts, especially like the guitar solo.
Okay.
Where it goes into but it's like a crossover. It's just a tiny bit.
I can see that.
Tiniest bit.
Like
I'm
a
just
dash.
saying, like a tiny
just
little bit of country. But I mean, jazz is already kind of a blend of all American art forms, so it already does have some of that in there. I think, but it's blues. It's got to me solidly vocal jazz.
Yes.
With a touch of folk, a little more so, a little less country.
See, I would have just put it 100% in the jazz.
Vocal jazz, really?
For me, like I would have just 100%.
I don't know, because I compare, like when I think of vocal jazz, I think of something like maybe like a Billie Holiday singing "Summertime."
Well, I feel like you listen with a different ear because you're an instrumentalist, so you have a little more a global view. You take in the whole of the song, whereas I'm listening more, and especially because I had the same feeling like the instrumentals were trying to get out of the way of the vocal, that was the predominant. Was the overriding
what brings it to
thing.
jazz to me more than anything is the rhythm section playing, like the bass and drums.
Well, that also, yeah.
So the bass and drums make it feel like a lounge song, like a jazz in a lounge.
Also,
you can see like the smoke billowing, and the people drinking the cocktails. And
also, that antimeter part, that free time part, that feels very jazzy to me. Like the cadence of where the breaths are taken, if that feels jazzy
so expressive. The vocals are so expressive. I couldn't say enough about like the expressiveness of, and it makes me curious as to how people like that write. Do they think about like, okay, now I want to take a breath here and I want this note to be elongated, like how they phrase a sentence. Because a lot of times, and I mean you do it too, and I find it fascinating, but all vocalists phrase differently, you know? And the great ones have great phrasing. Like, it's really dull when, like, you hear a song that sounds like somebody's reading a book, right? Or, like, it sounds like just it's like just a sentence. It's not as
punchy.
It's not as captivating as, like, when people stop at key moments. It's like, how's this sentence going to finish? Like, what is this,
When they inject the melody with a little difference in order to punctuate without actual punctuation. So if they, for instance, change the melody line of a verse or even a chorus, the thing that's the unchanging thing, they change the melody line to punctuate a specific word or an idea that they're putting through.
After you've heard a song, it's like you immediately forget that you have never heard it before, right? Because like you start to associate with, you already start to memorize parts of it. But like I'm talking like, there's really interesting things even in this song where it's like, come away with me. That's a whole thought. But then it's like in the night.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's not right on top of it.
No.
It's a descriptor that follows just like a pause later.
Yeah. Well, I think of this song when I first heard the song. For me, it was like that piece of time where you've just woken up or you're just getting ready to fall asleep, and it's kind of letting go of your body a little bit.
It's like a dream. That's a good point.
It's kind of in the middle of
it's like a dream
lucidity.
Song.
Yeah.
It kind of almost puts me in a dream state to listen to it, like a daydream.
I feel the same way about this song that I feel about Mazzy Star's Fade Into You.
Interesting.
It gives me the very similar vibes.
Well, they are both in your timing.
But that really was in the 90s, so.
Yeah, we all know your favorite timing of all is 6/8.
6/8,
3/4,
yes.
which is very similar.
Yeah.
And
I gravitate toward it for writing and for listening.
And the interesting thing is like everybody knows like the waltz time 6/8 or 3/4 rather, when it's like up tempo 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. But what people don't hear as often, is
the slow
6/8, because you can't waltz to it, but it has that triplet feel where I guess it'd be a really slow dance waltz.
I wonder why I gravitate toward it. I wonder if it's closer to heartbeat or something.
Well, it's not just you. Like but I'm
really for it.
Earlier days, in like early music, like early church music, 6/8 was a huge thing. Like if you go back to like Irish music and Irish folk songs and that type of thing, there's a lot of 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3.
Well, I am pro 6/8 timing.
Yeah.
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 Not just like it's good. That's fine. I'm for it.
You're here for it.
I hold up signs.
Let's
go.
Several of them, and it's funny that
we had to change some of them into 4/4 because I was writing too many.
It's almost weird to me that modern music has gravitated so much 4/4. The more than anything else. But 6/8 is probably the next most popular time signature. But I bet
feel
that there was
one.
a time, and it feels like to me, and I could be wrong, but like I think that in early folk music, like early folk music, I would say that maybe 6/8 might have been close to as popular as 4/4, if not.
I can't. Well, I can't see why not. I think it should. I think it should be the winner.
Right. So.
What's your favorite time signature?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Do you have a favorite time signature?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let us know this week, and heck, let us know if Norah Jones on your radar. Hopefully, she has been.
Yeah, it's been 20 years. It's time to get on the bus.
To get on the radar. If she's not on your radar,
she needs to sell another couple million copies. Let's get her up to that 30 mark.
Right. Absolutely. Hey, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. We appreciate you guys being here every week with us and joining us in the comments. And we will see you tomorrow for Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. So if you're watching on Sunday, come on, let's go watch.